If you could have a guide, someone to help you tell your story, give you the tools to reach your ideal customer, lead you to living your dreams and turning a profit, would you follow it? Everyone, every passion has a place in this world, and each has the potential to be unstoppable. It's time to buckle up and tune in to your personal strategist, life purpose coach and marketing maven, Lindy Chaffin Start.
Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the studio. It is a chilly day in Atlanta for June, so I'm sitting here with my heater on, imagine, and the door's open. Thank you for joining me for Unstoppable today. My name is Lindy Chaffin Start, and I am your host. I am owner and creative director at Unstoppable Start Studios, where I love to just flabbergast people when I tell them, I created my business for you. They get that look on their face like, what? What are you talking about? Well, I hate using the term one-stop shop, but that's truly what we are here at the studio. I love to get to know a small business and how it works and that small business's audience. And I love to take their brand, their message to the right people. So I do everything under the sun for my clients, including branding, web development. I kind of blew somebody's mind just a few minutes ago. He called from South Carolina, a lovely man with Bones and Beans Barbecue. We're going to be working on some things for him here shortly. And just a wonderful person, but I was sharing with him what all we do here. Everything from the branding and the web development to the social media presence building and marketing, print advertising, media buying, the whole nine, SMS marketing, IP targeting, all the way through down to promotional items. A lot of stuff that we do here at the studio, and we do it all for our small business clients. And I love what I do, and I'm proud of what I do. But part of what I do is help my small business clients be found by Google. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about how to, not necessarily not to, but how to strategically play Marco Polo. You know this game. When you get into the pool in the summer with your friends as a kid, you all climb in together, and I don't know how y'all played it, but we were a little sly. You know, short straw gets to be it first, Marco. Everybody else fans out across the pool. Polo. Marco. Polo. You know how it goes. And the Marco, makes his or her way through the pool trying to tag a polo, but they have to do it with their eyes closed. So are you Marco or are you Polo in the Google scenario? That's a good question, right? So you can look at it from a couple of different ways. Imagine Google as the Marco. And that's kind of how we're going to position it today. But you can come at it from either direction. So Google says, hey, there's somebody searching for leather purses. Marco. And out those feelers go. So is your website going to Polo back? Is Google going to be able to find you? Or not? Are your keywords leather purses? Leather purses on sale. Cheap leather purses. Cool leather purses. Fashionable leather purses. Leather purses, leather purses, leather purses. What does that look like to Google? And are you staying at the top of Google's list of leather purse websites? And how do you do that? There are only a handful of things you can control, right? We've talked about this before. When it comes to your SEO, you can control your URL. You can control your page titles, your meta tags. You can control your copy. You can control your backlinks. You can control your heading tags. So you have a limited amount of things that you can control in your SEO. Outside of that, it becomes marketing. Now, if you're using your website as just a business card, cool. You're not as concerned about SEO. Do you really not care if Google finds you? And that's just a very important question to ask yourself when you're starting out. Are you going to use this as a business card, or are you actually going to want people to find you online and engage you? Now, just because they get to your website doesn't mean they're going to automatically engage. There's a lot of work, marketing work, that goes into that. Some of it can be automated, some of it is not. But all in all, I mean, the idea behind having a website is so you can be found. Even if somebody just hears your name in passing and they can't necessarily remember exactly what your website is, it might be fantasticleatherpurses.com. But maybe they don't remember the fantastic, so it's just leather purses. So how are they going to find you if they're just searching for leather purses, special leather purses, beautiful leather purses? You see where I'm going with this? And it all comes down to your SEO. And then it all comes down to staying fresh, right? So Marco, Polo, let's learn a little bit more about how we're going to do that. How is Google going to tag you so that you can be it? Don't you want to play? Don't you want to be in this role? Come on. So, first things first, your website might be spectacular, but if it's nothing but images, Google is not necessarily going to see you. Now, if you're doing it right, your images are going to have alt image tags, and those alt image tags are going to be so people with vision impairments can still know what's on your website via picture. But if your website is nothing but pictures, Google's probably going to ignore your alt image tags. Maybe not completely ignore, but you're not going to be on that top of the list. You know what I mean? So you want to make sure that you have relevant content on your pages. Your home page is super important, of course, but every page after that is also extremely important. When I say relevant information, if you have leather purses, then you want to talk about the different types of leather purses that you have, the story behind your leather purses. Always referring back to your leather purses. Maybe you need to refer to colors or sizes or what type they are, whether they're a messenger bag or a wristlet or an over-the-shoulder bag. There are lots of different references that you can make in your copy on your homepage when you're telling your story or highlighting a new product that Google will recognize. Okay. Cool. You have to have content. You want to make sure that your page titles are descriptors for your content. So here's a little bit of fun information that you will want to know. You know what your page title is, right? You can go in and change it. It is your URL / whatever's on this page. On a basic website, That's your home page. It's your about page. It's your contact page. That's keeping it as simple as it's going to be. But say you sell leather purses, and say you have we'll start with a wristlet. Instead of your page title being fantasticleatherpurses.com/product1, you might consider your page title being leather wristlet. If it's got bling on it, leather wristlet for evening. You see where I'm going? So your page titles, in essence, look like a search string that someone might put in the little Google search bar. Does that make sense? So you can customize your page titles, and you can customize your content, your copy. So on the leather wristlet page, you would talk about this spectacular, we'll just call this one casual. We won't go into the evening bit. But again, you get where I'm going. We have this lovely, small 5x7 leather wristlet that can hold your iPhone, can hold your credit cards and some cash, and your driver's license, has a driver's license window. Think about all those things. Has a lovely little leather strap, is made from 100% organic leather sourced by a farm in South Georgia. Comes in black, brown, cream, nude, purple, green, orange, yellow, red. Is stamped with the maker's logo. Has a lovely gold closure. Like, these are the details you want to put into your leather wristlet. But let me throw in, continue to talk about this leather wristlet. This casual leather wristlet comes in X colors. This leather wristlet is perfect for the beach, the mall, work, because it's casual. You know what I mean? You get where I'm going. Tell the story of the leather wristlet on this leather wristlet page, and Google will see more of you. Okay? Now, if you're selling a leather wristlet on that page, but you're just calling it a leather purse, it's not going to be relevant. And Google's going to giggle and move on to the next site who's done a better job with their keywords and their copy. And that's something you have to keep in mind. So before you go into this, before you go into your design of your website, you need to think about all of these lovely little details. Who your client is, who your potential customer, favorite customer, best customer is, so you know who your audience is, your messaging, what that looks like. How are you going to sell Susie, who loves carrying her wristlet to the beach, a wristlet that she can carry to the beach? What's that message like? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. You are listening to Unstoppable on Inspired Choices Network, and when we get back, we're going to continue talking about using the wrong keywords and how that's going to mess you up. We'll be right back.
We all wish we had a few extra hours and a few less things to do in our hurried days. By tuning into Unstoppable, hosted by life purpose coach and marketing maven Lindy Chaffin Start, you'll hear success stories of how other entrepreneurs have uncovered their passions and learned to live a balanced, purposeful life. You'll receive tips and tools to market and grow your business, wrangle the chaos, and design the life you've dreamt of. Learn how to be unstoppable by tuning into InspiredChoicesNetwork.com every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message? The world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. This is Unstoppable with life purpose coach and marketing maven, Lindy Chaffin Start. If you have a question about marketing your small business or finding balance as an entrepreneur, or you're just trying to get up the courage to do your own thing, let Lindy know. You can call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now, back to Unstoppable.
And welcome back. You are listening to Unstoppable on Inspired Choices Network, and I am your host, Lindy Chaffin Start. And before we get back into playing Marco Polo, let me just say if you are confused about the game and how to play the game with Google, feel free to give me a call here in the studio. My number here is 404-245-7474, or you can visit my website, unstoppablestart.com, and reach out via that little contact form there at the bottom. And I am happy to chat with you about this crazy SEO game and how to be found by Google so that you can take the lead with your small business. Now, before we went to break, we were talking about what it takes to be seen by Google. Having imagery on your website is critical, no doubt about it. People want visual representations of what it is that you are offering. We all get it. It's emotional. It's a driver. Imagery is great, but if that's all you have, you're missing out because Google can't see that as well as it can copy. Also, if you've got this great website that you've built and you have not customized your page titles to match the content of the page, then Google is going to have a hard time seeing you as being relevant. They might see that you're selling leather purses, but if your page title says nothing about you selling leather purses, then Google's not going to get it. They're going to see the content, but they're not going to see any reference to the content. So that's a problem. So before, hopefully, if you have not, or if you have already started your website, or if you have not already started your website and you're just doing the preliminary research, part of what you're doing is your keyword research. Keyword research is huge. After you develop your audience, you know what your products are, you've looked at your marketing mix. Your keywords are what you're going to use in your content, in your page titles, in your heading titles. They're going to describe what it is that you offer, and that's how people are going to find you. You have to think like a consumer. Think about how someone would search for you. If someone's looking for a wedding singer and you're talking about your classical vocal training, guess what? It doesn't jive. It doesn't mesh. But if you are a wedding singer or you offer your services as a wedding singer and part of your history is your classical vocal training, cool. Share both. Share how one leads to another. okay? But you want to make sure you're doing your keyword research. You want to make sure that if you are selling leather purses, you're being specific about the types of leather purses that you're selling, the types of materials. Some people will search for organic leather purses. If that's if that's material that you use, then share that. Someone might search for sterling silver clasps, decorative clasps, a certain style of clasp, a seashell, starfish. I don't know why I'm thinking about beachy stuff today, but there you go. A horseshoe. Think about the words that you are using to describe your product or service and make sure that you are very specific in a way that Google will recognize. Now, I'll go back to the top of the show for a second and say, as you are developing this content and you are laying in your imagery, be sure you use those alt tags on your images. That, again, not only helps visually impaired persons be able to see your website like a regular person would, not like a regular person would, but like a person without disabilities would. It also gives Google an added layer of, here, check me out, I'm relevant. Okay? Keywords are special. Please use them. Something that's kind of interesting is, especially if you're a small shop or if you're a service-oriented business, some of us have a tendency, especially in the service-oriented side of things, we'll do like the one-page sales letter as a website. You're familiar with it. It's a quick sort of scrolling, hey, this is who we are and what we do. Reach out to us. Cool. That's great. Google is not going to see that type of website as easily as it would if you broke your services out onto separate pages. For my company, I'll just use it as an example and we'll go back to leather purses. But say for my marketing business, because I run the gamut of everything from branding to web design to copywriting to social media to, all of this, ad campaigns, you can SMS marketing. All of these things should have separate pages. That gives me the opportunity to have a page title, to have unique content for that service, to brand each individual page to my business. You see where I'm going? So with the leather purses, going back to, sure, we sell leather purses, but here's the leather wristlet. Here's the bucket purse. Here's the tote bag. Here's the over-the-shoulder bag. Here's the fanny pack. Each individual product is going to have its own set of descriptive words, its own uses, one's for evening, one's for daytime. Maybe it's reversible. Who knows? But you see where I'm going. Use these words like you are the consumer looking for the product that you're trying to sell. Okay? You don't want all of your products or services on the same page. Okay, so those are all fun things to think about as far as getting out there, making yourself relevant, and we'll keep circling back around to that. I apologize, by the way, if my voice sounds tired today. I am a little low on steam, but it's all good. I'm excited to be here and to be talking to you about playing Marco Polo with Google. So when you were a kid, did you play Marco Polo? So Marco was in the middle and all of the polos scattered out and the polos had to stand still? Or were your polos sneaky and did they move around? Just barely. move here and there. How did you play Marco Polo in the pool as a kid? See, we were always the sneaky ones. Made it so hard on those Marcos. Well, that's the thing. Keeping it fresh helps Google find you. Now, what do I mean by keeping it fresh? So Google has this thing that it does. It's called indexing. It's basically when you have the opportunity to rank higher based on the content that you're providing. It gets you to the top of that list faster. The more frequently you update your website with new products, articles, things to download. Google will stop by, or any sort of indexing will stop by web search crawlers, stops by your website on occasion to see if there's anything new. Or if they pick up on something new, they stop by your website. Okay. So the more stuff that you have up there that's new, the more quickly you are indexed, the higher your ranking goes organically. So, having fresh content, and we've talked about the basics on what your SEO looks like, but what about changing things up? How often should you do that? Well, maybe not just as often as is warranted. Because if you're only releasing a new product every 6 or 12 months, that's not going to get you up any higher. Not really, not any faster. So maybe you don't release a new product every day, every week, but you can share a testimonial, a client experience, share a white paper, share a downloadable file, share some new photos, change up your content slightly, write a blog post. There's lots of different opportunities to refresh your content to improve your rank. It's not all just about backlinking. Backlinking is when Google kind of sees your authority because they see your relevancy and your authority because someone else has a link to your website from their website. So how often should you be refreshing your content? Producer Christine is asking questions. It depends on your business, but I would say at least once a week with something new and fresh. It's going to move you pretty quickly through those ranks. Once a month is fine, but once a week is great until you get your real estate developed. Once you get your real estate developed, which means Google kind of sees you and has you up there, then you can kind of step off a little bit. Yes, we all need extra appendages to make all of this happen or to hire staff. All right, so we're going to talk more about frequent updates and why they're necessary when we come back. Right now, we're going to take a quick break. You are listening to Unstoppable on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
We all wish we had a few extra hours and a few less things to do in our hurried days. By tuning into Unstoppable, hosted by life purpose coach and marketing maven Lindy Chaffin Start, you'll hear success stories of how other entrepreneurs have uncovered their passions and learned to live a balanced, purposeful life. You'll receive tips and tools to market and grow your business, wrangle the chaos, and design the life you've dreamt of. Learn how to be unstoppable by tuning in to InspiredChoicesNetwork.com every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time. This is Unstoppable with life purpose coach and marketing maven, Lindy Chaffin Start. If you have a question about marketing your small business or finding balance as an entrepreneur, or you're just trying to get up the courage to do your own thing, let Lindy know. You can call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now, back to Unstoppable.
And welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with me today, talking about playing Marco Polo with Google. We want you to be found. That's the whole point. Not everybody can afford a marketing team or an advertising agency, and that's the whole reason I'm here. I'm happy to consult. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call at the studio or reach out via the website at unstoppablestart.com. For now, we're going to dive back into Google and what it likes about these frequent updates. And there's a key here. You might think that the more that you do, the more you'll be seen. And that's not the point. That's not what I'm trying to tell you. You want to stay fresh and you want to be relevant. Google wants you to stay fresh and wants you to be relevant. So if you're changing your site once an hour just for laughs, Google's not going to like it. It's just not. And I use Google. Granted, it's not the only search engine out there who's doing the indexing. It's just the one that we reference the most. So that's why I always say Google, but there's also the Bings of the world. So if you're changing your website entirely too frequently, but not making changes that really do refresh you or make you more relevant, then Google's going to penalize you. Instead of improving your rankings, you're going to drop in the rankings. So be mindful of that. But if you're adding content that Google can see and say, hey, this really does make you fresh and relevant to your audience, then yay. So it's an image. It's an article. Again, it's a white paper. It's a, blog post. You have lots of opportunity here, folks. You know your websites. Make it once a week. Make it once a month if that's only all you have available. If that's the only bit of bandwidth you have, cool. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But Mother Google definitely loves the frequent updates. So update, provide fresh content as often as you can. Now that said, what are you going to do with that fresh content that you're providing? Is it just going to be the ramblings of a 45-year-old man sitting in his basement wanting to get noticed by Google? I hope not. I hope you are adding an article, a photo, a white paper, a new product, and I hope that you are making this content keyword rich. Now, when I say keyword rich, I don't mean we're stuffing it with keywords. I'm going to point this out as an example because people, believe it or not, tried this. Back when all of this was relatively new, people knew that Google was looking for keywords. So they would literally on their homepage take a string of keywords that they thought were relevant, type them in, make the font 5 points, 6 points, make the color the same as the background, and that keyword string would disappear. To the average Joe, anyway. And they thought that that was helping them be found. Now, it might have for a minute, but as you know, Mother Google likes to change the rules about, I'm going to say about every 5 months. Now, maybe even more often than that, but solidly every 5 months. So it doesn't work that way. You can't keyword stuff your pages. You don't want to do that. If you're adding a new product, and it is in fact now a new organic leather wristlet for evening, then you can talk about that in terms that will be used to search for that lovely new organic leather wristlet for evening. You can change your page title, you can change your heading, make it all relevant, sizes, make it all relevant, make it all stand out. Use keywords in your copy, use keywords as your alt image tags. Make sure you're using your keywords. Make it readable to the average human, not just Google, but make it so Google recognizes what it is that you have available. Okay? Keyword phrases, not just keywords, but keyword phrases. And it's okay to repeat stuff, but don't go crazy. Don't go crazy. So all of this fresh content basically increases your authority, much like backlinks do. Google says, hey, here's a leather purse outlet that is adding a new leather purse. In this case, it's a leather wristlet for evening. Cool. Let's make sure that we circle back around, and based on our formula, we're going to raise you up to page 2. Oh, wait, they just wrote a blog post about where their organic leather comes from for their leather purses. Look at that. They source, you know what I'm saying? So it all kind of comes back. You make a change to your website. The indexes see it. Based on their formula, if it's relevant, they bump you up. And they keep bumping you up. So you just have to have this as part of your strategy. It is not easy, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. Not everybody is built for this job. Just like not everybody's built to be a parent. Not everybody's built to be a chef. Not everybody's built to be an artist or a guitarist or a cowgirl. Everybody has their strengths. Everybody has their weaknesses. That's what makes us all unique. That is why we are here. That is why we are here together. So if you are listening to this show and you go, this makes sense to me, but I can't quite get there. I don't understand. Cool. Call your local marketing professional. Give us a call here at the studio. We're happy to help. We can walk you through it. We can do it for you. There's lots of work to go around. I'm not lying about that. And there are lots of us to go around to help. But make sure that you're dealing with a reputable marketing professional who's been doing this for a minute, or who works with a team of people who know what they're doing. Don't go to the Fivers of the world and expect somebody to be able to get you ranked higher. because those aren't necessarily the people you want to work with. Not saying they're not, but good things don't come for nothing. So be careful and weigh your options. It's like getting 3 quotes for a contractor. You get the low one, you get the high one, and you usually land on the one in the middle, right? That's how that works. My fellow host, Keisha, who will be on shortly, has a cat that likes to sit with her while she does her show, and my cat just jumped up on my notes. So bear with me a second while I wrestle her. So we're talking about these lovely ways that Google finds you. Google says, Marco. Your website says, Polo. You're being found. It's what you want. It's part of your strategy. So meta tags and title tags also, that's the fun back-end stuff. The descriptions that Google sees for each individual page does not need to be. And I want you to think about this in terms of how a Wix or a Squarespace or a Weebly or a GoDaddy or a Homestead would put this out there. I want you to be looking at it. Okay, so you're in the back end of your website, of your page, and you have your page title, and you have your unique page URL, and you have your unique page description, right? What Google, and they show you, 9 times out of 10, they will show you what it looks like when Google delivers this in search, okay? When you're looking at this, and when I say unique page description, I mean unique page description. So if your product on that page is an organic leather wristlet, your page title should be organic leather wristlet, and your page description should be organic leather wristlet with some more details. That looks nice, that is readable by humans, that is enticing. Organic leather wristlet, available in multiple colors. Size is holds iPhone driver's license window. I'm being bland, but you know what I'm saying. You want that page to be about that thing, that service, that product, whatever. Now, I will tell you, there are some instances where you can get super specific on pages and people are still going to find it. And here are some of those, well, here's one of those industries. Dental burrs. Certain products in certain fields have certain codes that people will automatically search for. It's not just like the DIYer might be looking for a diamond burr to create a craft with. So therefore, they need to know if it's a needle or a football or a ball. Dentists, on the other hand, do not reference things that way necessarily. Dentists will look specifically for a product number. So if you are working with products along that line, be thinking around all of that information. Use your product's name, descriptive name, diamond football, but also if it has a manufacturing code or a manufacturing descriptor like that, a model number, use that so that people who buy it across brands can reference it quickly. And make sure you can find it on your website, that it's titled in your page title and on the page in your website the same way it would be as if they were searching for it, either through Google or on your website. Does that make sense? It's a lot of information. Anyway, we're going to take one last quick break, and we're going to come back and finish talking about Marco Polo and Google. Such fun. You're listening to Unstoppable on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
We all wish we had a few extra hours and a few less things to do in our hurried days. By tuning into Unstoppable, hosted by life purpose coach and marketing maven Lindy Chaffin Start, you'll hear success stories of how other entrepreneurs have uncovered their passions and learned to live a balanced, purposeful life. You'll receive tips and tools to market and grow your business, wrangle the chaos, and design the life you've dreamt of. Learn how to be unstoppable by tuning in to InspiredChoicesNetwork.com every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time. This is Unstoppable with life purpose coach and marketing maven Lindy Chaffin Start. If you have a question about marketing your small business or finding balance as an entrepreneur, or you're just trying to get up the courage to do your own thing, let Lindy know. You can call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. Now, back to Unstoppable.
And welcome back to Unstoppable on Inspired Choices Network. I'm so glad you were here with me, and we're in the last little bit of our show. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, jump into the chat room, or give us a call here at the studio. I'm happy to do my best to answer them in the last few minutes. But while we're on the subject of Google and playing Marco Polo, Marco Polo, your website hollers back. We were talking about making sure that you're using the things that are relevant to your audience. It's important. You know your industry well. Leather wristlets are not going to have the same product names and numbers across the board as dental burrs would. So that was the point that I was making before we went to break. Now, why, aside from Google, is it important to keep refreshing your website with new content, new products, updates? Why is that? Well, here's the thing. You have an audience. Your audience gets to your website. Your audience sees your copyright and your footer. Let's say they've scrolled all the way down. And in your footer, your copyright date's 2017. How relevant could you be? Let's say visually, your website looks like it was built in Yahoo back in 2003. That doesn't make you terribly relevant, does it? No, it does not. So, you want your website to convey that you are fresh, that you are in it, that you are relevant, that you are important, that you are a subject matter expert. How are you going to do that? Well, there are lots of ways to do that. Lots of ways. You can create an explainer video. Your header video. I actually stumbled across a website yesterday, getting ready to refresh, migrate Rampart, the Rampart, Texas website next week. Looking forward to it. They are a construction provider in Texas. Their website looks good. It's not fresh. It's not necessarily relevant. So I was just kind of poking around to see what the competition was doing, and one of their competitors has a video. It's a header video, and it looks really good. They have created basically drone videos that they've sewn together of different projects, and different angles of different projects and different stages of construction. It looks really good. It looks really good. Now, does that tell Google anything? No, not necessarily. Does it tell your audience anything? Absolutely. It absolutely does. It is eye-catching. It tells part of your story. It kind of shows from beginning to end what projects look like, and that you have projects you're happy to share about. So video is one way that you can stay fresh. New articles, new partners, new products, new services. The key is not only do you want to make Google happy, you want to make your audience happy. So get in there, even if you just put it on your calendar to do a once a month, even a once a quarter audit. I'm not talking about blog post. Do your blog post. Do your new products. Do things you're supposed to do on a weekly or monthly basis. But go in and audit your site. Once a quarter, take a look at where you are. Get on Google, get on Bing, put in a few search strings, see where you are in the ranks. Maybe you have analytics plugged in. You know, analytics is one of those things that I've talked about frequently. Utilize Google Analytics. It's an easy cut and paste code you put on the back end, no biggie, but you can kind of see where people are coming from, what pages they're looking at, how long they stay on those pages. It gives you an idea of where their touch points are, if you're reaching the right people, men, women. You can get demographics out of this thing. You can get locations. Analytics are kind of important. So take a look at that stuff. Like I said, even if you just do it once a quarter and refresh your website based on that information. Do the maintenance once a week, once a month, whatever your bandwidth will allow. Hire somebody if you don't have the bandwidth for it. We all know that you are meant to be your customer's number one. Marketing professionals exist everywhere. There's some talented folks out there. Call me. I'll give you names. If you don't want to work with me, that's cool. I have plenty of people I can refer you to. But don't go it alone if you don't feel like you can, if you don't feel like you have the time to. The whole point is we want your business to be a success. We want you to be a success. We want you to be unstoppable. That's why we're here. So, until next time, I want you guys to go out there and do some spectacular marketing. If you need help, call Unstoppable Start Studios and let us experts who are here every week walk you through the process or manage the process for you. Until next week, be unstoppable.
Thank you for being Inspired Choices Network's most valuable asset and for tuning in to Unstoppable. Host Lindy Chaffin Start will return next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Central Time, 11 a.m. Mountain Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time, with more valuable tips to support you and your small business. Until then, be unstoppable.